Hey, family, welcome to another episode of the Black Man's Roundtable. I am your host, Rodney Butler. And today we're doing another one of our District 3 runoff interviews. Well, we're doing the second runoff interview that we've been doing. And today we have District 3, Mr. Terry Searcy, and we're going to conduct this interview, and it's going to be more of an interview, more of a conversation, kind of like we did last week. We're going to do the same kind of setup today because it is go time, and these candidates are ready to go. The foot is to the metal, and the metal is to the pedal. So, with that being said, Mr. Terry Searcy, welcome to the Black Man's Roundtable again, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Mr. Rodney. It's a pleasure to be back.
Absolutely, man. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. So look, Terry, we're going to jump right into it. And basically, these questions primarily come from the followers of the Black Man's Roundtable. I actually thought that the questions were going to be a little bit different. They are a little bit different than they were last week, but they're pretty much the same. So as I think about it, well, District 3 has the same concerns. No matter who the candidate is, they have the same concerns. But there are a couple of minor concerns that they, I'm going to say concerns that they have, things that some of the viewers of the Black Man's Roundtable, a couple of things that they want for you to put to sleep and put the rest for once and for all. Because what is it? Is it next week? We're voting like next week. I mean, early voting start. So, and so they want you to put this to rest. So it's not a concern more than it is that they want you to put it to rest. And before we get started with those general questions that they had, Terry, the first one is, sir, are you a Democrat?
Rodney, you get straight to the point, don't you? Well, let's just put it this way. I've been a Democrat pretty much. I'm a 52-year-old man. I've been a Democrat my whole life except for the last 10 years. I became an independent. So that was because I wanted to vote for the best person, and I started to but I pretty much have been voting with Democrat. Even though I'm an independent, I vote with Democrats. I voted for Barack. I voted for all the same old people and some of the same policies I've always followed. So I just lean more fiscally conservative when it comes to finances and
Right.
transparency. I really do. Now that part, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a hawk on that part, and I'm not gonna apologize for that. But I've always been a Democrat. My family's been a Democrat. I ain't had no arguments with my family members. My family ain't kicked me out because we pretty much be on the same
Right.
page. And no, that's the only thing. A lot of the country and what a lot of people don't realize is because of the bickering between the two parties so much, and that we're starting to feel like nothing's getting done. A lot of people are starting to step back. The fastest growing political party is the independent party, but they're just you always hear it on CNN, you hear it on other shows, and they say the swing voters, it's a purple state. You're starting to hear a lot of purple states instead of red and blue. You're hearing purple because voters are swaying one way or the other. I think they're starting to wake up and find out, hey, I need to find out who this guy or this woman, who this lady or this gentleman that I'm voting for. So I've always been a Democrat, and a lot of my values are Democrat values. So, but I just
Yes.
don't. One of it stems from is, well, I think that's going to be a next question. I don't want to overstep, why a lot of people think I am not a Democrat, but
Right.
I
Right.
am a Democrat.
Yes. And the reason, like I said, they just want you to put it to rest. And I will let people know right off the bat. Okay, the Black Man's In fact, the Black Man's Roundtable is not even a political platform. It is a social action platform for the most part. It is a community engagement platform. I think this is the first time I've ever interviewed a political candidate where I asked them what was their party affiliation, right? Because that is not what this platform is about. Okay, I let other things, do that in debates and stuff. We interview here, do that in forums and different things. But that's not what this platform is for. Eventually, there will be Republicans that come on this platform. Okay, right now I don't really want Republicans to come on because I don't think they're ready for my smoke. Because of most of my ideology don't line up with theirs, and I don't want to get somebody on here and just eat them up. You know what I'm saying? That's not who I am. That's not what I do. But maybe as they learn me and get a little bit more comfortable with me, then we will be able to have those conversations. So I just wanted you to know that. But what I would tell you is that they were not the questions that what I got from the listeners or from the followers is not a concern, but more of a let's put it to rest. I think some people might be tired of reading stuff. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see stuff because I got this platform, but I'm really not out there on social media like that. But what I will tell you is that I've heard you explain it the exact same way that you explained it tonight. I've heard you explain it before, and you said the exact same thing that you said. And so I guess what you're saying is you might be officially an independent, but you caucus you more or less caucus with Democrats, like a Bernie Sanders kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm probably not as liberal as Bernie, but
right.
I'm
Okay.
not, I do caucus with the Democrats. When I ran last time, for the chairman position, I was a Democrat then. I caucus as a Democrat. One of the things that Georgia does is, and a lot of people might not realize, it's a two-party state. And if you're an independent trying to run for office, you can only be on the independent ballot. So what happens is you have to get a lot of signatures, and I could be wrong about the amount, but I think it's it could vary between local races and state races and national races. So, but it could be upwards of 25,000 signatures you got to pay for to get on just a ballot to where your constituents, Democrats and Republicans, which a majority of the state is, can vote for you. So as I got older, one of the things that I'm not devaluing the Democrat Party. I'm not devaluing any party. But what I'm saying is, as I got older and I got more knowledgeable as a as a person that really pays attention to what's going on in this local community, I began to realize I wanted to vote for the best person. So I wanted to say, hey, I wanted to step back, because sometimes when you have that DR by your name, you just check straight down the box. Well, guess what? Some of those guys I'm checking straight down the box might not have my values. They might not think the way
Correct.
I think, or they might not really feel the way I feel. They might be against something that I'm against. And I reserve that right to do that. But it wasn't a slight against the Democrat Party. It wasn't. And I do miss the old Democrat Party. I miss it. I miss the days of the Democrat Party that was for the working man, that was for, against wars. I've been in war. I don't want to see anybody's child die. So that's one of my big things. And I don't have a problem with Joe Biden. I don't have a problem. And for those of you that I think Joe Biden is not the legitimate president, let's put that to rest today. Joe Biden is the legitimate president. He's the president of the United States. So let's get that clear. You can check my voting record, how I vote. But my thing is, Rodney, I just don't hate somebody. Right. I'm not going to hate somebody because they have a DRR by their name.
No, me either, man. Me either.
Martin Luther King said, judge me by the content of my character, not the color of my skin. And I'm not dumb enough to think that just because a white person says something derogatory to me, that's the whole race that's derogatory. I have friends on both sides. I have friends, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. I do. So when people say to me, how dare you? How dare you? I saw you hanging out with that person. I saw you hanging out with that person. Let's just get something clear. The Republicans attempted to push me off the ballot. I don't think a lot of people know that. The Republicans attempted to push me off the ballot. That's who brought the suit against me.
You talking about the current election or the
the current election.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Got it.
The current election, it was Republicans who were trying to kick me off the ballot. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because they had a Republican in a race." What sense would that make? If they got a Republican in the race, they'll just vote for the Republican, so it doesn't really matter. They'll just leave me alone as a Democrat. But what they didn't like about me, and a lot of people don't like about me, is I'm going to try to unify people. Because while we're arguing and bitter, and we're being bitter and fighting over these things, Rodney, there are people out here hurting that have really, truly issues. People are losing their homes. People can't afford to eat. The poverty rate is not because of I can't blame any one party or any one person, but I'll say this. I know eggs was $1 a little while ago, and now they sell $8. Me as a person who makes great money, I can afford it still. But guess what? I'm at a point where I'm hesitating to buy eggs now. It's almost, $7, $8. So I'm sorry. But I can't say, because I'm not up there, how it happened. I understand how it probably happened, the transitory inflation, and then also,
Terry, I think we have to take the right, and I know, like you said, you're fiscal conservative, but for everything else, again, I'm not saying you Joe Lieberman, or not Joe Lieberman. I went way back. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Don't give me Lieberman. Ain't that old?
I'm not even that old. It's just, I've been doing this, following this politics thing for a long time, early 20s and teens really. But anyway, I say that to say that I know you're not Bernie Sanders liberal on everything else, but your main thing you're saying is that you're you're a fiscal conservative primarily, meaning money situations. When it comes down to money issues. And like you're saying, bread is high and inflation is a little high. I think, but what we got to do is we got to become more informed voters, even though bread is high and inflation is high. So the food that you put on your table and inflation is a little bit high, but going down. There's so many other things that are fiscally doing very well. Like unemployment is just way down, as low as, and the stock market is absolutely booming. And believe me, I know, because I'm a stock market guy. That's all I'm gonna just leave it at that. And it's doing very, very well.
Looking for you. Don't do that.
See, they won't, because they won't. They look for the person out there with the W-2 money. Yeah. You know how that works. But at any rate, I so there's definitely balances that's going on each side. But I wanted you to really get that out there, because it's crunch time. And like I said, my audience, the audience that you're talking to, I think they're going to appreciate the way you handle that question. And like I can tell you, I've seen you answer that question the same way a couple of times now, publicly, and one, on right here on this platform, and you did it the exact same way. So people are, like you said, you're not necessarily a dedicated, red team, blue team thing. You are a people person, and and that's okay. Because nowadays, people want to put you on a team and dare you to look across the field, So I appreciate you not being that way, if nothing else, because I'm kind of that way. I don't just look at some, letters all the time that somebody made up. We got a whole lot of Democrats throughout this country, and a whole lot of Democrats that have disappointed the Democratic constituencies that they're supposed to be serving, and the same way with the Republicans. So we got a whole bunch of people, they thought the Republicans were going to get in there and do that and hold their values and they just didn't work out. They just didn't do it. So you got to look beyond that. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna move right into the next one, Terry. The again, and this one didn't come off as a concern either. It came off as a, Terry need to shut the door on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And because it's a runoff, I think you do need to as well. And I've heard you answer this one before publicly, I think 2 times. So I'm going to get to hear it again. And so I think many of my many of the Black Man's Roundtable followers have heard you at least once talk about this one as well, which is being a resident of District 3. Talk about it, Terry.
Without going long-winded, because I can be long-winded right now.
I got you.
The thing is my mother was, without talking about my mother and divulging a whole lot of stuff, I left my house in District 3 to move with my mother as she was passing away. And my mother had a handicapped son, and she had 2 children that my sister was. She was in drug rehab, which she's doing awesome now. So we got her in rehab. So I had
Thank God.
I had to take care of my mother, my handicapped brother, and 2 children. And I couldn't do that from a house that I was staying over in District 3. I had to move in with her, which was in District 4. I did the right thing by changing my address and not pretending like I still live in District 3, even though I could have, and just left it the same. I moved over there with my mother, and once my mother passed away, I had a lot to juggle. That wasn't her house that was there. That was a rented house where she was. And after that, I had, to deal with all these siblings and everything. So once I got all of that settled and everything got settled, I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, which actually lives in District 3. So between there and a couple of other places and the residence I have now, I moved around a little bit. So it was a lot coming in me at that time, without divulging a whole lot of my personal business. But I moved around. But I was in District 3. I've been in District 3 for 2 decades. So I'd like to put that to rest. I only moved over there temporarily to help my mother, and that was the only reason I moved. But I didn't because so much was going on trying to get my brother settled, trying to get my sister's children settled, which I still have. I have them. I'm taking care of them while my sister's in rehab. I was trying to get a stable place to get settled, and I was in District 3 the whole time. So I have several properties. So I mean, it's just I don't know how to explain it.
No, everything I've heard you do this twice. Well, I guess I can say 3 times now, and the story didn't change. That's all. Look, I don't know where you live. I don't know whether you're a communist. I don't know what these people think. You know what I'm saying? But I know you're not. But at the end of the day, what I can validate for the followers of the Black Man's Roundtable is that at the end of the day, I've heard you tell these stories 2 or 3 times. I think both of them now 3 times, and you've been consistent. So don't nobody know what's in anybody's heart. That's why I was just teasing about the communist thing. Who knows what some of these people are? I'm still trying to figure out a whole lot of folks. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we don't know what's in somebody's heart. All I can tell the viewers of the Black Man's Roundtable is you've been consistent on your answer to this, and I think that's fair for me to do. And I try to be as fair as I possibly can to any and everybody that come on here. And what I'm telling you is that what I'm telling the viewers of the Roundtable is that you've been consistent with those 2 concerns or whatever people want to call them. You've been consistent with it. So I can validate that. Can't validate anything else, but I can validate that. So with that, Mr. Searcy, we're going to go into the stuff that I know that you really like to talk about. And that is about the issues that's in District 3. And you can get, like we did last time, you can get as specific as you think you need to get. If it goes a little longer, then I'll make sure I'll moderate that piece for you because I don't want you thinking about time. Let me do all that. Just be free, be yourself. Remember, like I tell everybody that's coming on here, especially for these runoffs, remember the name of the podcast, the Black Man's Roundtable. Know who you're talking to, know the audience you're talking to. But I'm telling you, this is District 3. I am a resident of District 3, and I'm very, very passionate about District 3. I guard District 3. So I don't care who is going to be the District 3 commissioner. You know this, Terry. At the end of the day, they're gonna end up hearing from me. For
Yeah,
whatever little platform I have, they're going to end up because I'm passionate about District 3. And I think in next week, I think it'll be 15 years since I bought my house back in 2009 right here in District 3. Been in the same house since then and don't really want to go anywhere else. That being said, sir, you know what's coming up? Dollar General and these little stores like that. Terry, I ain't even got to ask the question. Just talk about what you plan on doing about this mess when you got like I said, you have $1 million home right there, and then you have a Dollar General right there. Talk about it, sir.
correct, correct, sir. First, I want to say many people have been asking me to answer those questions, but I only came here to answer those questions, and I thank you for those questions, Rodney, and for you giving me the honest chance to be able to answer it without a gotcha moment.
Thank you, Terry.
To tell my story, and that says a lot about this platform. Well, let's get to something that rubs me the wrong way. Uh, Dollar stores are something that are going to be a detriment to us if we don't understand what's going to happen. You can't build something on every other corner and put something every other corner, one a half a mile from each other, another one 2 miles from each other, and you oversaturate a market with a store and not expect it to begin to fold. If you look at Krispy Kreme, if you look at TGI Fridays, if you look at Ruby Tuesdays, their brands were very solid until they started diluting everywhere. It was on every exit. When you go to Tennessee, you go to California, you go wherever, you knew there was going to be a Ruby Tuesdays, a Kentucky Fried Chicken, or maybe a Popeyes, depending on how far north you're going. You know, and that's what's going to happen with us. We're going to have a wasteland full of empty stores, and it's going to be something we're going to have to deal with. We're going to get left with those corporate stores sitting there, and we don't know what's going to happen when they become drug infested, anything. And what I have a problem is there needs to be a moratorium on dollar stores and warehouses now, ASAP. And when I say as soon as possible, I mean as soon as possible. That's going to be one of the first things that I'm fighting for. Warehouses, liquor stores, dollar stores, moratorium. We need a moratorium on apartments, moratorium on townhomes. Number one, what we need to do is we need to catch up with the infrastructure. And the reason I'm going to be so tough is because I was on here last time and I was a little timid about it, but I learned from you. You pushed me. District 3 is the highest tax bracket in Douglas County. We are it. We are it, and I'm not going to apologize for it. We are the creme de la creme, and guess what? District 3 has been getting pushed around for a long time, and we haven't gotten the things that we deserve in District 3. You and I have talked about it, and I don't think we deserve dollar stores and liquor stores. I don't think we deserve low-income apartments over by us. I think we deserve Whole Foods. I think we deserve things that District 3 can afford to do. So there's the income there, the disposable income. And as I told you guys before, our disposable income matches Smyrna Viner's disposable income. Why can't we have it? I'm tired of asking for it. I'm tired. I've been there 2 decades and I've watched it. I've watched my business, Studio T, I've had for 13 years. They slapped the dollar store right in front of my business. They can't even see me from the road. So I'm very much adversely affected by this. And Chapel Hill subdivision, several subdivisions in District 3, we average anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000 per home. 500 to 600 starting. I'm not talking about below. I'm talking
Right.
about starting in District
Right.
3. We have pockets of it that are around 250, 300, some at 4. But a majority of our district is averaging about 350, 360. But we have a great deal that's in the 700, 800s, and we're putting dollar stores next to them. We're putting rental subdivisions across the street from $500,000 homes. That's not going to happen in my district. That's not going to happen in my district. And I know it can't be done without me. I need 2 more votes, but let's get it clear. If I have to do what I have to do to help protect District 3, I'll help protect District 3. I'm going to build those relationships with those individuals. I'm going to build
Well,
those relationships, but
yeah.
we're going to have to do a moratorium instantly and work on our master plan, and then bag up and say, let's work on the infrastructure. Let's work on the infrastructure first. Let's do these moratoriums, and then let's get a master plan going to grow this county and this city properly.
So Terry, just for explain to, I got a smart audience, but explain to the audience what you mean by a moratorium on these specific uh, liquor stores and dollar
Business.
stores. Explain to them what that means. What you're talking
A
about exactly.
moratorium is where we're saying as a county we have too many of one thing, and what it's doing is it's canceling out businesses. So you have $1 store, their profit margin might be 100,000 a year. You have another dollar store right around the corner, which is affecting that dollar store around the corner, which should be about 300,000. This one over here is operating at 80,000. So eventually, they're going to cancel each other out. So what we're saying is, due to ineffective operating, we need to kind of slow down and stop building the same product. It's as if, just to give an example, as if let's say you're in District 3 and you've already got 3 beauty salons. You already got 10 beauty salons. But you get applications for another 25. At some point, they're going to oversaturate themselves and they're going to price themselves out of the market. And so we're going to have a business failure rate. That affects our business failure rate. So when small businesses get ready to come look for somewhere to open, or big businesses, they look at the failure rates of businesses in that county. So I'm saying, let's take a moment and let's breathe and let's say, okay, listen, we got $25 stores. That's enough. We have enough dollar stores. We got 30 beauty salons. How many more do we need? We got this many, liquor stores. How many do we need? Hiram only has 5. Paulding only got 6. Douglas County got 16. At some point, there's a disparity. And what it does is it cancels itself out. It creates problems for small businesses to where they're fighting, their profit margins are already so small, you're having to compete with a store that's right next to you. That's not fair. So it's time for us to do a moratorium, take a step back, and give these small businesses an opportunity to succeed. Because the more corporate stores that we open, also, we're killing mom and pop stores also. I would love to go to a local farmer market. I like the farmers market over there on Highway 5. I would love to see things like that grow. But we can't. The more corporate stores that we open and they saturate our market, we're pushing out the little man that gives us that everyday good hometown feeling.
Absolutely, Terry. And
Because
like and like
I'm
you say,
sorry, go ahead.
well, we do just have the Walmart. I don't think we have any of those little mini Walmart things, or not
The
ones that I.
neighborhood
Yeah, them
stores.
neighborhood Walmart stuff. So at least we don't have that right now that I know of. But if we keep going in that direction, like you said, if we don't do a moratorium on a stoppage, so we can think about what we're doing, then we may end up with a whole, even those little Walmart things everywhere. And when you bring a Walmart in, like you're saying, a lot of times it drives the mom and pop spots, out of business. So yeah, I definitely, and I know that's part of your, that's part of your fiscal kind of conservative, but I'm glad you show the way you're breaking it down is it helps the people understand when you say that you are a fiscal conservative. This kind of helps paint that picture as to why, because if you're too loose, then you have all kinds of stuff, in your place, in your county and in your city, and and like you said, too much is not good. It's saturated, and yeah, it was once upon a time, look, we can use an example that's going on right now, and that's the what is it, the Red Lobster,
Yeah.
Red Lobster used to be considered almost upper
Okay.
echelon,
Right.
That's what we went when we graduated, high school and stuff, and but now them things
You
are
were
closing.
excited to go there.
Say what now?
You were excited to go there.
Yeah, you
It
were
was good.
excited, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was
So
just a
so
regular place.
yeah. So definitely your point is taken. On that. We already kind of talked about the package stores, and I know some people will say, well, the reason Paulding County only have this many, and Douglas County have this many. I think you said like 6 and 16 or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but and they say, well, population, but like I keep saying, this is the Black Man's Roundtable, and I tell anybody, you can take that population stuff and kick rocks as far as I'm concerned, because at the end of the day, there are certain things that's going to be done in communities of color, especially largely African American communities, that's not going to be done anywhere else. And I guarantee you that it's disproportionate. Again, I'm no scientist, I'm no statistician. I took a lot of statistics, but I'm not a statistician. But what I would say is this: I'm willing to guarantee you. I'm willing to put money on it that in Paulding County, the amount of liquor stores does not match the population. I guarantee it's disproportionate. Yes, Douglas County got more, residents. We got more people. Our population is bigger, but I guarantee it's not proportionate, the amount of liquor stores and whatever that's in Paulding County, or even probably in Carroll County and some of the other places, and you say, well, what's the difference? Well, you're looking at it. This skin color I got right here on my face, that's the difference. And we need to stop trying to not explain that or apologize for it, and be, and stop ignoring the 500-pound pink elephant in the room, or whatever people say. So yeah, Terry, that's yeah. Anything else you want to say about that, Terry?
Let's give some statistics.
Okay.
What happens when the more liquor stores come in? It's not a. Let's talk about it. Douglas, probably 15, 20 years ago, had maybe 4 liquor stores, 3-4 liquor stores, and you guys can see those liquor stores sitting around there, 5 and 20 package, the same package stores that's been there forever. So, but at that moment in that time, they made a decision to say no more. They made liquor license hard to get. They made it very hard to get. And so let's talk about things that we are neglecting. Mental health is serious. And what we're doing is we're allowing people that need mental health, we're allowing individuals that have, I want to be really kind how I say this, that have some issues. We're giving them full-blown access on every corner to something that can create more problems in their life. And I'm trying to be polite how I say that. But it's no coincidence that as our demographics begin to shift, that the more liquor stores came. And we can't blame the Republicans. We can't blame whites. We let it in. We opened up business for things that, someone said we're open for business a long time ago, and I was happy to hear that. But guess what? We have to begin to say, did we open the door for a lot of the right businesses? Like, we know dollar stores, because they're getting banned everywhere except for Douglas County, they're turning into Pop Shelf. They're renaming themselves because they're in the anticipation of this. So when it comes to the liquor stores, and I don't want to jump all over the place, but what I'm saying is a lot of these things weren't being brought to us until we took over.
And when you say, I want to make sure.
I'm not blaming us.
Yeah.
But I just have to be honest. I have to be honest, because the chairman of some of the boards that are approving these licenses, they look like us.
And when you say, right, Terry, and when you say, until we took over, I'm going to need for you to be more specific on that. I know what and who as far as being more specific about the board of commissioners. Who are you when you say when African Americans when we took over? Right, you said when we took over, it kind of changed. So when we took over,
we let in. We let in a few things. Not that it got bad. I ain't saying Douglas County got bad.
Right. No. I'm not. Yeah, what I'm saying is
we let in.
So what I'm saying is, when you say when we took over what?
when we took over the board, when we took over a lot of the elected positions.
Okay.
So
So you're talking about when we took over the board of commissioners and when we took over all those
right,
sub boards that's under the board of commissioners, that's when
right,
all the stuff started happening. And
started coming in.
by we you
Right,
mean African Americans for the most part.
Rodney, you always tell me on the round table, let's keep it 100.
Yes, sir. That's why
Let's
I'm
keep
doing
it
it.
100. Don't. I'm not blaming my black people for everything. That's
Right,
not what
right.
I'm
I got
saying.
it.
Because
But
we built a beautiful county. We built a beautiful county. I think it's
absolutely.
going in a different direction. But some of the things we didn't pay attention to, the
And at the-
warehouses, the liquor stores, the dollar stores, all of that came along, starting under the Republican regime, but it went into full effect in the past 8 to 10 years.
Right.
Now you've been here forever, Rodney. You moved here.
So
when I
yeah.
moved here.
What people got to do? What people got to do? People got to go and look at what I hope that what I'm asking my viewers and followers of the roundtable to do is to go look at what Terry is talking about. Go look at the leadership over the last 12, 15 years, like he's saying, and see what's there. So it's something that can be looked at. Here's the bottom line too. Right now, we have. I've heard people talk about how we have, a chair on the commission who lives somewhere else and really don't live in Douglas County anymore. And so now, of course, he might not have been elected, but at the same time, he's there. And at the same time, the more needs to be done to hold him accountable. But what does he care about? How many liquor stores in Douglas County? How many? Look, I've tell anybody to talk to me. I tell anybody to talk to me, Terry, if they could, if some of the forces to be could, they would do exactly what happened to Clayton County, to Douglas County. And once Clayton County, people don't, like I said, 30, 35 years ago, predominantly white county and all that. And then, it started changing, the demographics started changing or whatever. It wasn't that poor people was moving in, but you started treating it poor and people weren't even poor, like we talk about with District 3. Like we talk about District 3. And I know you said $700,000 and $800,000 homes. What I would tell you, Terry, there are literally $1 million homes all around, in District 3. And so, and they have to look at a Dollar General, and sometimes people don't even care how much disposable income you got. It's like, I'm going to destroy that community. I'm going to make that community look poor. So we do have to have the right people. We do have to hold them accountable. I've never understood why someone in District 2 or 1 or 4 or whatever, because we talking about District 3 today, I don't understand why, sometimes some people seem to want the District 3 to fail or something. It's like, so you don't want to come out of District 1 and have some of these nice restaurants and hotels to have your people when they come, because they're going to be here more than likely in District 3, probably, you know what I'm saying? So I don't get how people can't see it being one community. Sometimes I just don't get it. They are blinded by whatever it is that they want to be blinded by, man. So
it is. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying African Americans ruin Douglas County. That ain't what I'm saying.
No, you didn't say that. You did not say that.
I'm not saying that. So but some people will take that as
right.
But
what I heard is you talked about a span of time that that before this period of time, let's say 20 years ago, they had X amount of liquor stores. There was no Dollar Generals. There was no whatever. And then for the last 15, I think you said 12 to 15 years or something like that, you've say again, Terry.
It was part of the last. It was going, last regime. The Republican regime. It kind of started under that.
It started under that.
That's
and then
basically
what you're saying is kind of got on steroids after that.
Got on steroids after that.
Okay, gotcha.
Let it just boom. And they were starting to do it. The Republicans were starting to, matriculate it in a little bit, and then it started. I seen it, and I was like, man, what is going on? What is all this stuff popping up?
The way I interpret that, Terry, you saying the Republicans, because see, there was a time when the demographics are starting to change, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're saying basically is that 20 years ago, the Republicans would not allow for 8 more liquor stores or whatever to come in. But as you know, as they're still in power, but the demographics starting to change, it's like, you know what? Yeah, let's let what you're saying is let's let these liquor stores and these Dollar Generals come in because we about to be out of power and we want to burn the place down. It's
Say it out loud. You make me say it out loud. Say it out loud, right?
Man, you know I will. You know I will. I wish somebody would. You know I will.
Right. No, I know you will, right? I'm not questioning you.
I know. You know. And okay, I think you clarified. I think you clarified it pretty good.
I didn't want to make it sound like, oh man, when black people took over, I'm saying it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I started to see a different business mind state begin to change, and it began to change. And when we took over, we didn't stop that from creeping in. We started, paying attention to the warehouses and the Googles and the Microsofts, and we kind of didn't say, hey, whoa. No one looked over there and said, hey, whoa. That's too many. I get it. Let's make these licenses, a little bit more expensive than they should be, to prevent people from wanting to come get one. And, just not handing them out like candy. And that was one of my issues. So I didn't want to make it sound like that. So I wanted to clarify that. I'm not saying that because I'm an African American man. If that's the case, then I shouldn't be trying to get elected.
Right.
But I wanted to clarify that. But we have to begin to become a smarter citizen. We have to begin to become a smarter citizen. I had someone tell me the other day, Terry, I love when you're speaking, but I wish that you would not teach people so much. I actually had somebody tell me to stop teaching so much. And let me tell you something. I'm here to give you. I'm not going in there. I'm not going into the Board of Commissioners to hide stuff from you. When I say transparency, I mean transparency. I mean, I want to email you my votes. I want to meet with all the HOAs in District 3. I want to meet with you every 6 months. So I have to answer to you. I don't want you wondering where your commissioner is. I'm going to be in front of you. I want you to get tired of seeing me. I want you to get tired of seeing me. And guess what that's going to allow me to do? When I hear about something that's coming, because I'm getting texts like crazy from people now. They're like, hey, did you see this sign? Did you see this sign was trying to come? Did you see what's trying to come? The RV, they're trying to do RV park. They were trying to do some kind of horse something. It's like all this stuff is coming. We got 7 more apartment complexes asking to be approved. And we got 5 more townhome communities asking to be approved.
And this is in District 3 alone, what you're talking about.
They're coming. District 3 and District 4 is the last front line of Douglas County where the land and the prices can be set at a good rate. Those are the last 2 that developers hadn't touched. And while we're arguing over all this other stuff, whether Terry live here or whether he's a Democrat or whether he's what, developers are destroying this county 1 plot of land at a time. While we're arguing, these crooked developers and all these horrible politicians that we're electing are destroying it 1 step at a time. But the sad part about it is, Rodney, and I'm sorry, I'm just talking, but I get
go ahead. Because look, remember today, this is an interview / conversation.
Right.
This conversation today. So talk it, brother. Talk it.
I don't like the fact, because I'm gonna tell you something. I hear it from the white side of town. I hear it from the Latino side of town. I hear it from every side of town. We're all saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're tired of warehouses, liquor stores, car washes. Where's our Whole Foods? Where's this? Why are we stuck in traffic on a 2-lane road that's been that way for almost 100 years since Douglas County been around, and we haven't did anything about it? People are tired. And
Terry, I tell people all the time, if people get out of the silos and out of the echo chambers, they will see that people are talking about the same thing. They are literally, in fact, I was so happy, and I'm not even on social media. I forgot where I saw it at. But I'm on social media, but I'm not on social media like that. I'm rarely on there doing anything. If I'm on social media, it's probably business stuff, you know.
Right.
And so I might post something on one of my private, maybe once every 4 or 5 months, maybe. But
Right.
anyway, that being said, I did see somewhere where they were talking about on social media that the RV situation that you're talking about, I think is on down Chapel Hill Road somewhere.
Woo.
And, and I'm like, wow, at least somebody is focused on that while people like you saying are doing all this little petty stuff. We take our eyes off the prize. And people don't know who was the senator, the senator that owns all those Dollar Generals, the Georgia senator.
Oh
I think
yeah, the Georgia senator.
yeah,
I know the one you
that
talking about.
guy. He'll come to me
Lost,
at the very end
lost
of the.
in the Senate race. It's either the governor's race or the Senate race he lost.
Yeah, I think he.
Uh,
I think he lost the governor's race, but he's the
yeah,
one
he
who
lost.
owns all these Dollar Generals.
He
And
does. His
what
name.
people don't know is that it was always in their model. It was always in their business models to put two right beside each other. That's why you see
Right.
them there. It's by design. It's not by mistake. And he said they will still come. They will
Right.
still come. And you know who we mean by they. You see?
Right.
And so,
They know.
yeah.
That's why
So,
they put them in. That's why they put them in certain areas, right? That's
yeah.
why they put them in majority minority areas.
Yep.
That's
And
why they're
but
there. You go to Smyrna Viners, it's hard for you to find a. You go to Gwinnett, you go to Kennesaw. It's hard for you to find a dollar store unless it's the old side of town.
that's just the old side of town. Exactly.
And
And
all of
so
the new stuff,
how
nope.
does a Dollar General and Chapel Hill Road even in the same sentence? I mean, that don't even make sense.
It doesn't.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't
make
work.
sense.
I'm
But
gonna
Terry,
say
what I want,
District 3.
well, District 3, yeah. But the
Makes
doggone
sense.
thing's sitting right there on, it just happened to be sitting right there on Chapel Hill Road.
Very
And
dead in your face.
I don't go down. I remember when I first went down there, I didn't even see the thing being constructed because I don't go. When I go there, that means I'm about to go to a certain place, down South Georgia or whatever, right?
Right.
And so going the back way, if you will. And so I went down, going down Chapel, going out of town. Man, my wife and I looked at each other like, what the, we didn't even see the last time we was there. It just didn't exist the last
Right.
time. So that they put that thing up pretty quick because I know it hadn't been that long since I was like, what in the world? So, but look, Terry, before we close out, first I want to apologize to the viewers, and I know that you definitely have people that was ready to come on exactly at 7 o'clock. We got started a little bit late, a little late because Terry had to kind of change venues and switch out computers real quick, but you did it. But man, you did it in record. You did it in record time because you changed your entire setup. So you did it in like 6 minutes. So, but anyway, that was pretty good. But anyway, that being said, Terry, I want you to close out, man, with just talking to the people of District 3. This is the last gasp for air, brother. This is the runoff, and we know that Douglas County for the most part is a primary county. Yeah, this runoff now, but let the people know. Let this audience know whatever you need for them to know, and then we're gonna close it out with you, letting them know how they can reach you. I know you don't want them to donate. I made that mistake and asked you for donation. You were like, oh no, you don't take donations. As far as I still know, you don't do it. But anyway, we'll close it out like that. But look, talk to the Black Man's Roundtable audience, man.
One of the things I want to say to you, I thank you, Rodney, for this platform, and I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on this platform. And it's always a pleasure. District 3, I'm Terry Searcy, and I want to be your District 3 commissioner. And the reason I want to be your District 3 commissioner is because I'm going to fight like no other. I'm going to fight like no other to protect it. I've raised my children here. I've grown a business here. And I have lived my almost half of my life here. And when I first moved here, I knew this was where I wanted to rest my head at the end. I wanted to lay down here. I wanted this to be my last stop. And the reason I'm getting in this race right now is to protect you, District 3. To protect you and to protect this county from itself. We're growing at an exponential rate. We're growing so fast. And I have no problem with us growing because as I walk around these neighborhoods, I see excellence. I see some of the most beautiful homes, beautiful yards, children outside playing. We have a beautiful community, especially in District 3. We have a beautiful community. And I'm going to do everything I can to fight for it to grow the proper way, to give it what it deserves, because our children deserve that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the sausage and pretend like I'm going to give you the pie in the sky. One of the things that Terry Searcy is, you're going to get the truth. My mother taught me that. Don't ever ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to because I'm going to give it to you. I might give it politely. I might sometimes give it harshly. But I'm going to give you the truth. And I expect you to do the same. So if you want a commissioner that's going to be available, going to be around, and going to fight to protect your property values with everything I have, then I'm your man. Then I'm the person for you. But I'm going to say this, and as I always say, Martin Raxon is a great man. He's a very well accomplished man. He is a man that has made the African American race very proud of the things that he's accomplished. And I don't see this as a race between two bad, as a good and a bad. Because let me tell you something, District 3. Both of us have a heart for District 3. And I'll never tear a man down. He's ran an honorable race. All the stuff that you're seeing on the internet, neither one of our campaigns had anything to do with it. I spoke to Martin at the CSB, and he's a good man. But I just feel that I'm the man for this job. I'm the person for this job because I'm going to fight. And I've made up in my mind, if I go no further in politics, District 3 is what I'm going to save. With your help, I'm going to save it. No more apartments, no more townhomes, no more liquor stores, no more questionable planning and zoning things popping up by your house. And that's what I'm going to do. So if you really want to reach out to me and ask me any questions beyond the round table, you can reach me at on Facebook, Terry Searcy. Also on Facebook, electterrysearcy2024.com. And same on Instagram, Twitter. And you can reach out to me. My phone number is public because it's my business phone number, which means I give that out so it won't ever change. I can't change a business phone number of 13 years. It's going to stay the same because my customers look for that number. So that means you're going to always be able to contact me and reach me. Thank you, Rodney, for that opportunity.
Absolutely, Terry. I appreciate it. And it's ironic. Well, what I will say to you first, man, is that the Black Man's Roundtable will never, well, I always tell my girls, don't use absolute words. So I'm not going to say never. I tell them it all the time. Don't use absolute words. You never know, you know. But anyway, the goal of the Black Man's Roundtable is to never get involved in nasty races, political races. If it is garbage and there are, whether it's coming from one side or both sides, I know the other person may say, well, I can't control what's happening over there. I don't want to have those kind of, I don't want to give those kind of races this platform. Just like right now, I'm not quite ready for, Republicans to come on. I want to do it for their safety, not mine. Because I'm probably going to blow you up. You see what I'm saying? And I don't want to do that to anybody. So why bring them on in the first place? So if you got all this garbage throwing out there, because if I give one side an opportunity, I'm going to give the other side. And I say that to say this to you, Terry. You and Martin have ran a gentleman's race. I know both you guys. I've known Martin longer. You know that. My audience knows that, right? But both you guys have ran honorably. There's no, dirt slinging and all this stuff, and you didn't get down in the dirt and in the mud with stuff. You don't need to if you are a good candidate. And in fact, I talked to Martin today, and I told him, just so happened, and I told him, man, I tell you, Terry, he everything, because I saw you the other day. We were doing some work together, and some community work together, and I saw you volunteer. Now we went out there on no sheriff detail.
We're
Yeah,
picking up trash. We're
yeah,
picking
yeah,
up
we're
trash.
picking up that. Yeah, you have to say it because people are like, wait a minute, you was out there doing volunteer, but
Right.
yeah. So, but I told Martin today. I said, man, I said Terry, he had nothing but good things to say about you. I said, man, that's what I like. All this tearing each other down. What good is it doing? We just creating an audience for somebody else to be clapping. We need to be tearing, somebody, I'm not going to leave names out of it because I try to, we need to be tearing some of these other folks down. You know what I'm saying? But he
Right.
did say, but I did tell just Martin that just today, and then you repeated a lot of the things that you just said on the Black Man's Roundtable were the exact things. I didn't tell Martin specifically. I think I just told him, he just had nothing but good things to say about you, how honorable you are, and how no matter who is coming up there, yourself or him, it's going to be a good thing, for District 3. And at the end of the day, like you're saying, you definitely believe you're a better candidate, or else you wouldn't be running. But I appreciate how you come across with that. But yeah, just told him that today, man. So I appreciate it. I am a person who mending bridges instead of tearing bridges and exploding stuff. I've seen enough stuff exploded. You was in the Navy, and I retired from the Army, so we've seen enough of that stuff. We like to mend and bring people together. So I appreciate that, and I look forward, man, to Election Day, and I look forward to whoever is the commissioner of my District 3. I want them to know I'm going to be in your hip pocket, your cargo pocket, your one pocket on your shirt. I'm going to be there because that's what, with your guys, whatever, with the work you're going to do, and with the work that I'm hoping I'm able to do with this platform, not only just for District 3, but I'm just letting people know this is my district for real, for real. And I'll use this platform to help Douglas County because I love Douglas County. I retired from the military. I had a choice to where I want to live, anywhere in the United States, or in my case, anywhere in the world. I chose here. I never lived here prior to, being in the military, and I retired in 2009, and I bought my house here in 2009. So I tell you, I'm looking forward to the work that you guys going to do here in District 3 and throughout the county. So Terry, it's been good. And I want to give you just one more opportunity because I kind of ran my mouth a little too long. I want to give you one more opportunity. To just close out with anything that you want to, and then we're going to close it out, man.
Okay. What I want to say to the people of District 3 and the people of Douglas County, we're going to have to come together as citizens of Douglas County to save this county. We're going to have to come together. And I know we got some differences. I know we do. But we all hate liquor stores, dollar stores, and apartments, and we all hate the same thing. We can lay some things aside for a second. I'm not talking about, all of us becoming one party. I ain't saying that. But I'm saying as the citizens of Douglas County, it's our job to leave this county better than we found it for our children. Because I would love for my children to stay here in this county, be able to work in this county, raise their children in this county. We're going to have to come together. And if we got to argue it out, fuss it out, do whatever we have to do, we're going to have to lay our machismo down to save this county. And I'm going to lay it down for you. I'm going to lay down. This alpha male is going to lay down to serve you. And I'm going to serve you. And I'm going to serve you with all I got. And, right now I'll say one thing. You've been a catalyst, and I can never tell you what to do with your program. But you and others are going to be the ones that save Douglas County. Because you're going to force us to sit down and talk. You're going to force us to have to talk. And I know you're not ready to talk to the other side, and I know you're not ready. There's a lot of Hispanics, there's a lot of whites, there's a lot of people out there that feel the exact same way you do. And, once we get this county back on track where you and I believe it should be, as you and I have discussed several times about it, you know, once we get this county back on track, listen, national politics, we can argue, we can fuss, and we can fight. Your county commissioner can't do nothing about abortion. They can't do nothing about none of those national issues.
That's right.
They can't do anything about it. That is the most important vote that you're gonna have, besides your presidential vote and your Senate vote, is the governor all the way down to your local commissioner in your state, because that's the person gonna put the warehouse in your backyard. That's the person gonna have you on that 2-lane road for 25 years.
That's right.
That's the person gonna have you walking without sidewalks and being in danger, almost hitting, just because you want to exercise. That's the person that's going to really tax you to death. Because let me tell you something. There's another tax coming up. The city already notified us that they're going to raise taxes one more time. And by law, once you raise that tax, the Board of Education has to raise their tax. And the county government has to raise that tax. It all has to be equal across the board. Now, we can choose what level we raise it to. Right. We can say, okay, if you raise it $1 million, we're going to raise it $500,000. We don't have to do the exact same number, but we're going to have to take a look at that. And right. So you guys are going to have to understand that person next door to you, that person down the street from you, we're going to all one day be sitting in God's kingdom. And I'm going to tell you what I did, what I'm going to do. I'm going to judge a man by his actions and the content of his character. I'm going to do that. Now, many of you want me in a box. You want me to not talk to people. You want me to stay away from people and to hate people. But I'm not going to hate anybody, because I got to answer to my God. I got to answer to him. And I'm not going to treat anybody worse than I would treat myself. So I don't want to sound preachy.
Look, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we started a little late, so I want to give you the same opportunity. Yeah. And
you're gonna be the glue, Rodney.
Well, I'm gonna do. Look, I put my blood, sweat, tears, and my money into this this platform in order to, I feel that the military has definitely enhanced the high ethics and ethos that I already possess. And I think that people, like myself and like platforms and other platforms need to help hold, some of these politicians accountable, right? Because, 10,000 voices is a sure lot hold more weight than one. And so at the end of the day, God have, given me the resources and the background to be able to maybe utilize a platform like this to be able to do that. But one thing I will say, Terry, is that, I tell people every chance I get, all politics is local. That's just not a saying. It's for real. All politics is local, because I tell them, look, what the county commission, the city council, or whatever, what those people decide on Thursday will affect you on Monday or Tuesday of the next week. What the Senate and the House of Representatives decide on Thursday ain't going to affect you until Thursday 2 years from there. So I tell people, absolutely, I let people know that your local politics is what touches you. Whatever the Supreme Court decide, if they even decide to hear anything, you might not hear, it might not be effective for another 5 years. But what that judge right down there in that state court judge, or that, that probate court, is going to affect you tomorrow, and so it's going to affect your son tomorrow about what that judge does. So I say that all the time. And I'll end it with this, Terry, like you said, I'm glad you brought it up again. But talking to the other side, talking to Republicans, I hope to one day do that. But I know right now the Republicans are not how can I say, they are not it is, how can you talk to somebody that's talking like that? You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. Until, like you said, you wish for the days of some of the old Republicans or whatever, to the old ways of doing things. At least you was able to talk a little bit to Tip O'Neill or somebody. But and I know I keep going back like I'm 100 years old, but I'm just trying to show how long I know how long I've been following politics. But but at the end of the day, I can't talk to these guys right now because I'm gonna hurt you, not physically, but I'm gonna eat you apart with all that crazy nonsense, and stuff. So hopefully, look, a two-party system can be a strong system, right? Or whatever. And so we don't want a monarchy. We got away from that kind of stuff, So I'm like you. I hope that things get better. So yes, sir. We'll close it out right here.
Yes, sir. This is it. I promise. I want to make an announcement here.
Okay.
If God sees fit for me to win, or if the people of District 3 choose me to win, all of my state of address of District 3, all of my announcements, all of my things that are coming, and it will be done on the Black Man's Roundtable. So everything will be done here. This audience is very important to me because it's a very educated audience, and it helps spread the word really fast. And they talk amongst each other.
Yes, sir.
So this will be my home base of operation if God allows me to be your District 3, and the people of District 3 allow me to be your representative.
I appreciate that, Terry, but I think you might have to do it twice then, because I think don't they give you guys like your own little your own.
Yeah, they do. I'll announce it, but I'll make.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably won't follow me on the things, but
yeah. But I'm just saying you gotta. Yeah, but I'm just saying you still gotta hold that obligation. So, but I got you, and I appreciate that, brother. And you've always shown respect to this platform. You talk about it to me a lot, as well as others. You tell me all the stuff that you hear, about this platform, and so I'm just going to keep doing what I do, Terry. But with that, man, thank you once again for coming on. I'll tell you, like I told Martin and all the other people, I definitely can't wait to have you guys back on the platform, when you are in office, so we can talk about, what's going on and what's really happening. And I appreciate it. So, Terry, we will see you on the other end. And with that, we're going to, again, apologize for us coming on a little bit late, and but we pulled it out, we pulled it through. And so until next time, we will see you in them streets and them suites. Peace. Don't forget to check us out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have show ideas or want to be on the show? Shoot us an email at blackmansroundtable@gmail.com. And please follow us on Facebook.